Oh, baby. UFC 330's over. Let's talk about it. Just wrapped up. Let's go ahead and talk about the boring fights in the main event and then work our way down to some of the sickest shit that happened on the whole card. Right? So, we had some pretty, let's just go ahead and get into it. Islam won against Ian Gary, as we predicted, as most people did. It was a stinker. I really thought it was going to be a bit more dominant. I thought Islam was going to show more levels, a bit more ability to finish and control. I think based on what I saw, because Ian was figuring things out. If he was able to get maybe just one more voice in the corner, he would have been able to turn that around, to be honest with you. The high kicks were money. Islam was super fatigued. I He wasn't really able to bring him down. This is like the definition of a pound for pound match. What I saw. Islam looked like a little guy in there next to Ian Gary. Ian Gary was a mutant. There's different opponents. I think Ian Gary might have been just by ring IQ, adaptability, speed, takedown defense. I think he might have been Islam's toughest matchup because he's the most likely to figure out how to break out of that. Obviously, you have like Amasov, maybe Michael Morales, uh, but you know, 17th win in a row, longest win streak ever in the UFC. Not my favorite fight. Welterweight Islam seems to be a little bit of a terrorist of the sport. Let's just be honest. It's that fight. It was tense. I felt the tension of it like a chess match, but especially during that fourth round when Islam's corner came together and they were like, "You need to win this round. This is the most important round." And when it got to that last 90 seconds, everybody was clinched up because we knew we were just watching a scoring fight. But we were all on the edge of our seat thinking, is Islam about to gas out? And is Ian going to take it? And I think he was close. I don't know how many more defenses Islam needs. I don't know how many more fights I want to see of Islam if this is all he's going to be able to pull off at welterweight, this type of win. But this, he was already the GOAT. So he and John Jones already. I mean, I don't know why I brought up John Jones. Forget that. Sorry, but Islam's the goat. He doesn't have anything else he needs to prove. That didn't prove anything more true, but he's got another record he broke. But if that's what we're going to see from welterweight Islam, and I'm going to have to wait a year for it, I don't know. It might be time to make a decision. Uh, Next fight of the night was Dern versus Robertson. Robertson looked like she was fucking high. She looked like she was on something for real. She was like glazed. I thought she was like too chill all fight week. She was kind of glazed over, but I don't know if she was actually on something or not. But she had nothing for Mackenzie Dern this entire fight. I think 49-46 is what I would have given it to Dern. Dern looked like a champion, though, outclassing Jillian Robertson absolutely everywhere. Control, striking, submission attempts, knowledge, strength. But we got to start loading these ladies' gloves or something. Because Dern was looking like a champion, but she just could not get the finish. And it really, maybe it's just an Islam fight card thing. Last November we had the same thing. Islam welterweight main event, co-main event by women's championship fight. Both end up being a bit of a snooze fest. Actually, I'd probably say other than the tension from if we were going to get Ian as the new welterweight champion or not, I'd say the Dern Robertson fight was more interesting. Now, there's only like one or two other stinkers on this card. Otherwise, this shit fucking ruled. So let's get into it. Jalen Turner tramples over Kaue Fernandez. I'm not even sure entirely what happened. It seemed like he just walked over him, hit him with the power. Jalen, the soldier of God Turner. gets it done in like 30 seconds. Unbelievable. So many finishes on this fight card. Of course, on the co-main event, in the main event, it had to hit a lull, but not much to say about a 30-second fight, except it was a great way to establish some momentum before it all kind of went off a cliff. Um, but fight before that was Mansour Abdul Malik getting his ass kicked by good old Dusty Stoltzfus. You know, when they started out, I looked at Mansour Abdul Malik's back and I was like, he's got a fucking ass on his back. This guy is quite the piece of meat, you know? And Dustin Stoltzfus put belt to ass on him the entire time. I don't think there was one area where Mansour Abdul Malik showed any kind of advantage. On the feet, he had the power, but he didn't have the advantage in the striking. He was just getting bullied around by old Dusty Stoltzfus. So that was sick to see. And I think, what did Dusty got him out with a submission, didn't he? Round 2, submission? Yeah, buddy. Fucking unbelievable. So many. We're not even getting to the biggest shocker of the card yet, but let's just keep cruising because it's all cool shit for the most part. Fight before that, it was kind of sad actually. It was the Edson Barboza Esteban Ribovic fight. Ribovic gets him out there. Edson has that dog. You could tell that you could see it in his eyes that he was hoping there was a way to win. That he came in thinking that there was a way that he could come out on top, but it was just this Father Time took him by the shoulder and said, round 2, it's time to go. So he lays down his gloves. This is one of 1.5 retirements that took place on this card. But sad, but exciting way. Edson Barboza, you had a good run. You're in your 40s. You're a legend. Congratulations. Enjoy the time off. That was the main card. Now we had a stinker at the top of the prelims. The featured fight was Chidi Njokuani versus Yoel Alvarez. Chidi won, which is great. That's my boy. But this fight sucked. Chidi Njokuani won this fight handily and still suffered from the same thing that I talked about in my predictions video, which is that he does not know how to capitalize on his own success. He was dominating all of that because Yoel Alvarez was just giving him the fight that's perfect for him. Yoel Alvarez has no ring IQ whatsoever. I didn't see anything in his eyes even that told me that he had any sense of a game plan. I kind of thought about this for a little while. I think Yoel Alvarez might just be like a LFA title contender level fighter, maybe a top 10 PFL fighter. Because the last few fights, obviously he got dominated by Amosov, but I think we're a little too forgiving on how quickly he was dominated by Amosov. Here, he just showed absolutely no IQ and stood in front of Chidi Njokuani, who, thank God for him, forgets what to do anytime he actually lands a punch on somebody. And it was in his last, Yoel Alvarez's last fight with Vicente Luque, who also got his ass beat on this card. He just rode his back for like a minute at the end of that Vicente Luque fight. I had no idea what was going on, what was going through Yoel Alvarez's head. I don't think it's anything. If you were bought into the hype at all and thinking that there was going to be a turnaround for a welterweight contender Yoel Alvarez, I'm sorry. That's not going to happen. Chidi Njokuani, congratulations. You're usually in fun fights, but hopefully we get you back in I don't know what it's going to take for you. You'd be fine to hang him up now, but it doesn't seem like you plan on getting any finishes anytime soon. So that I'd say was probably the last stinker on the card, if I can remember. Because then moving up, we had Charles Johnson with the Scottish Twister, which I think they made up for the broadcast, submission over Eduardo Chapolin Henrique with the shorts that said Dos Santos in the cage. Are you fucking kidding me? Are we real here? How many? This guy was booked for this fight like this week, and he's gone through two different two different names, and then his shorts were like pulling for a third. This is crazy. I don't know what's up with these Brazilians. It's out of control. But he was putting it on him. I was starting to look like little Eduardo was gonna get, get control of Charles, and he hit him with an illegal knee, which he did in his Contender Series fight as well. He also hit him with an eye poke. And in the second round, it looked like Charles Johnson was going to get out of there. But man, he's a tough son of a bitch. There's titanium in that skullet. He got up and he was able to get it done with the Scottish Twister submission. Now, I think Luis Henrique shouldn't be in the UFC. That's 2 fights I've seen with him now where he's landed illegal knees. Clearly, it seems to be a reflex of his, and he needs to get that worked out. Also, if he comes back with another fucking name, I swear to God, I'll just not look up any tape on his fights. After that, we had Dante Johnson just taking out Eric McConaughey with the Dalsim punches. That little 5'8" man with the 6'2" reach or whatever he's got. Crazy power. And it looked like they hadn't spilled as much water on the Game Boy that Dante Johnson lives in, because he wasn't doing too much of that glitchy shit as he was coming up to Eric McConaughey, but gets him out pretty easy. I don't remember any moments of success for Eric McConaughey, but slam dunk finish for Dante Johnson. And between that and the Charles Johnson fight, that secured our Johnson & Johnson parlay. I didn't do so good on picks this card, but I had 4 bets and they all hit, which was Islam and Dern and Dante Johnson, Charles Johnson and Dante Johnson by KO. So safe money, but some money's better than no money. Fight before that, Vicente Luque versus Tresean Gore. This was a back and forth fight. This was a war. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this fight because this fight was fucking crazy. This, it could have been anyone's fight, to be honest with you, but Tresean Gore kept getting the better of the exchanges. So much happened in this that I don't quite remember. Submission attempts, ghillie attempts, and it was a decision. It was the first decision of the night, and it ended with Tresean Gore coming out on top, spitting his teeth out into his hand. That's what kind of night this fight card was. It was amazing. Just forget about the main and co-main events, the things that were like actually carrying this card in name value. But this was a great fight. So it was all finishes before that. We had Rafael Tobias with Lucas Fernando, that was bag work for Lucas Fernando. He looked great. I'd like to see him against a player-controlled opponent. Rafael Tobias, you got to get out of there. We got to get him out of there. I don't know what he even does. I don't know what he did in that whole fight. Just was there with his mouth open, taking damage. What was that? Was that a KO? It had to be a KO. Lucas Fernando was just landing fucking Virtua Fighter combos on him. So, great looks from Lucas Fernando, but, impressive bag work. Second fight of the night was Neil Magny getting it done against Ramiz Brahimaj. Neil Magny, sneaky dude. He had the frame advantage. He was able to outdog Ramiz Brahimaj, get out of the submission attempts, and I don't remember exactly how he got out. I think it was a submission. It wasn't the most exciting fight because Ramiz had control for a good portion of it, but it was that Neil Magny comeback really finish that just made me feel good. For a little while, I was just like proud in this fight card. If I felt like my friends were winning, the good guys were winning. And Neil Magny gets it done by means which I do not remember. But congratulations. And at the time, I found it very exciting. The first fight of the night and the most exciting thing that happened in the entire card, which is fucking crazy, was the Miktatek Orobai defeat against Jeremiah Wells by guillotine choke in the third round. Miktatek Orobai is doing what everyone expects with a little bit more resistance. Not much, just because Jeremiah Wells is a big, explosive, powerful guy. But in the third round, Jeremiah Wells clubs him, and then he's able to lock up this guillotine so fast. I couldn't even believe it. I thought for sure what I was watching was some masterful maneuver from Miktatek Orobai getting out of that position. But that's not what happened at all. He was getting his neck fucking cinched until there was no air coming out, and he went to sleep. He went to sleep cold. Jeremiah Wells got it done. No fighters required under 39 on the first two fights of the card. Amazing. It was an amazing moment. I think he was like the fourth biggest underdog in history to win. So, in spectacular fashion. That's the kind of movie magic you want to see. And honestly, that was the highlight of the entire card. It was a great card. I was really worried there was going to be a huge adrenaline dump after that first event. But I'm glad we got 10 great fights. Well, 9 great fights, because the Chidi fight was a bit of a stinker. But if I had to give one fight of the night, oh God, I would probably the Gore Luque fight would have to get it. The Gore Luque fight would have to get it, and then everything else that was sick would probably have to be a performance bonus. But this was a great card. Can't wait for the next few cards that are coming up. Like and subscribe if you've stuck around for this long. Check out my next videos that'll probably be coming out Wednesday for the next card. And maybe I'll do a fight companion next week. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/FightNugget. I guess that's X. You can also find me on Instagram.com/FightNugget. We'll see you in the next one.